shot, save made, rebound, sit, shot, score! For the first time in franchise history, the Danbury Hat-Tricks have won the Commissioner's Cup!
And the season comes to an end for the Danbury Hat-Tricks of the first round of the 2024 Commissioner's Cup.
I think they're a resilient group. They don't stay down long, and that's a really good thing to see. Maybe sometimes overlooked and underrated is the ability to bounce back.
Find ways to win, right? It's championship hockey. You gotta play the right way. You gotta do all the little details and take care of the job.
Killers. Gotta be killers.
I get a feeling there's gonna be a riot.
On my soul, everybody in the click strap, and they all on gold. Keep a stick just like Branch Poppy, but I ain't a troll. On my mama, can't nobody out here play me for no hoe. Guard your grill. Ain't nobody out here hard to kill. The gat I pack, go plant and peel your cat from front to back. How you still for harder steel? Tuna fish my hardest meal. Stay trill when they switch to harder skill. I'm gonna feel like a Buffalo Bill with a buffalo feel with a post chill. On my soul, everybody in the click strap, and they all on gold. Keep a stick just like Branch Poppy, but I ain't a troll. On my mama, can't nobody out here play me for no hoe. What up, done? Let's get it. Yeah. Yeah.
From the Danbury Ice Arena in downtown Danbury, Connecticut, it's Game 2 of the Empire Division Semifinals, right here on the Hat-Tricks Digital Network. Hat-Tricks with their backs up against the wall. Danbury losing last night to the Prowlers, and now they are on the brink of elimination as the Hat-Tricks will try to win back-to-back games against the Prowlers and advance to the second round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. And they will have some work to do. Game 1, Danbury led 2-0. A little more than 7 minutes into the second period, but then the Prowlers turned on the Jets, scoring 6 straight goals, including 4 in the third period to take a 6-2 lead. Jacob Ratcliffe added the third goal with under a minute remaining in the contest. Big night for Reggie Millette, who was the first star, 2 goals and an assist. Lucas Lockney had a goal and a helper as well. Graham and Simmons Fisher with 2 assists, and Reed Cooper got the win, allowing 3 goals on 23 shots. Hat-Tricks on the kill, allowed 2 power play goals. Got goals from Josh LaBelle, Chase Harwell, and Jacob Ratcliffe. And now find themselves in a win or go home spot. And Danbury did not hit the panic button yesterday on the bus. On the way back, everyone was fairly calm. Starters coming in on your screen. You'll have the top line of Johnny Ruiz centering Chase Harwell and Jacob Ratcliffe, with Josh LaBelle and Charlie Bedard on defense. Connor McCullum is the starting netminder once again here tonight. He looks for a bounce back after allowing the 6 goals. Was replaced by Frankie McClendon earlier on in that third period. Danbury trying to avoid a first-round exit for the second consecutive year. They fell to the Motor City Rockers last season in Game 3 of the opening round. And now face a big test. Trying to win back-to-back games on home ice. If they are successful here tonight, we'll be back here 5 o'clock puck drop tomorrow on Easter Sunday. It is the holiday of the rabbit, right? So maybe that's some good luck for the Hat-Tricks, but first they have to take care of business here in Danbury in Game 2. Well, there will be some introductions for the lineups. So let's turn it over to our public address announcer, Andreas Klauba.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2025 Hat Tricks Playoff Lineup. Number 5, Zachary Ross. Number 6, Xavier Adela. Number 7, Assistant Captain Kyle Gonzalez. Number 10, Alexander Basilia. Number 12, Connor Woolley. Number 16, Josh Newberg. Number 20, Dylan Albee. Number 21, Vadim Prowlers. Number 24, Claire Durkin. Number 25, Brandon Gray. Number 27, Corey Anderson. Number 31, Andrew LaRusso. Number 40, Frankie McClendon. Number 55, Zach Bowman. Number 63, Justin Mobali. Number 71, Noah Robinson. And number 96, Dimitri Christou. And now, the starting lineup for your Danbury Hat Tricks. Brought to you by Chippen, Rizzuto, and Emerson, attorneys for the road ahead in Danbury. Number 15, Assistant Captain, Chase Harwell. At center, the captain, Johnny Ruiz. On right wing, number 3, Jacob Radcliffe. On defense, assistant captain, number 9, Josh LaBelle. On defense, number 2, Charlie Bedard. And in goal, number 29, Connor McCoy. The coaching staff for your Danbury Hat Tricks, co-head coaches Johnny Ruiz and Kyle Gonzalez, general manager Matt Doity, senior advisor AJ Galante, assistant coach John Kopinski, equipment manager Bob D'Alessio, assistant Jack Plunk and JP Kucha, and athletic trainer Adrian Dembe. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, at this time we ask that you please stand if you're able. Remove your caps. direct your attention to the flag as we honor those who protect our freedom. Singing the national anthem tonight, please welcome Zach Demko.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Our guy, Zach Demko, getting game 2 underway from the Danbury Ice Arena. Do or die for the Danbury Hat-Tricks in round 1 against the number 3 Port Huron Prowlers. Hello, Hat-Tricks fans. Doug Latuca, glad to be with you for the second consecutive night. And I'm sure everyone at home is hoping that we'll be talking again tomorrow. Hat-Tricks win or the season is done after a 6-3 loss to the Prowlers last night, a game in which the Hat-Tricks led 2-0, but the Prowlers with 6 unanswered goals. 4 in the third period. They chased Connor McCullum and took game 1 at McMorran Arena. Well, Connor McCullum is right back in net. Why wouldn't he be? The Hat-Tricks co-MVP, second most wins in the FPHL during the regular campaign. 40 for 46 last night. Some defensive lapses. Hat-Tricks lost a lot of battles in the corner. They will try to change that here tonight. Hat-Tricks starting Johnny Ruiz, Chase Harwell, Jacob Ratcliffe with Josh LaBelle and Charlie Bedard on defense. In the black jerseys, Port Huron in the white, and game 2 is officially underway from inside the Danbury Ice Arena. Thanks so much for joining us. The Hat-Tricks with their backs up against the wall, trying to avoid a first-round exit for the second consecutive season. Puck is jockeyed forward on the far side wall. Johnny Ruiz hammers it down low. It's swung around by Brett Lockhart of the Prowlers. Reggie Millette, who had a 3-point night yesterday, up the left wing for Lucas Lockney, who scored yesterday. He drops for the trailer. Lockhart shoots, save, juggled and covered by McCullum, snagging it out of the air with the mitt. And after the whistle, we've got some pushing and shoving. The net coming off the moorings as well. And what else did you expect? Game 2 of this series, and it is feisty. It was the trailer, Brett Lockhart, who got a pass in the high slot, ripped a wrister, gloved by McCullum, juggled it, and then held on. Hat-Tricks making 2 changes to the lineup. Out, Josh Newberg and Zach Ross. In, Corey Anderson and Justin Movalley. Those are the only 2 changes for the Hat-Tricks, who play their first playoff game of the season on home ice. Left circle face-off. Austin Federley in the high slot turnaround shot, blocked by the Hat-Tricks Defensive Player of the Year and Ironman, Josh LaBelle, who filtered it out to center. On his horse, Chase Harwell in the left corner, pressed on by Millette. He'll outlet LaBelle for Ruiz, right side of the blue line. He'll tuck it in deep, where Valtteri Nusiainen plays it back. Last night it was Reed Cooper who got the win. Nusiainen 1-2 against the hat-tricks in the regular campaign as Port Huron ices the puck. An .875 save percentage against Danbury. 17-11-2 for Nusiainen with a .266 and a .912 save percentage in the regular season. Mentioned Connor McCullum, 22 wins, second most in the FPHL. Got yanked yesterday, right back in tonight. Hat-tricks have all the confidence in the world in Connor McCullum. Left circle draw in the Prowlers zone. Hat-tricks win it back, but it leaks out of the zone. Kyle Gonzalez, quick up for Vadim Frolov, left wing. He'll chuck one in on goal, gloved by Nusiainen, and laid off for Timothy Organ. The college rookie Organ camped out behind the net. We've played 120 in the first period. Just one shot on goal and a save from Nusiainen. Trickling puck back into the hat-tricks end, and an icing on the Prowlers. The game plan last night from Port Huron was to get under the skin of the hat-tricks. They finished every check, especially in that opening 10 minutes of the game. Hat-tricks weathered the storm well. They led 1-0 after the first period and had a 2-0 lead about midway through the second frame, but then the floodgates opened. Port Huron tied the game with a shorthanded goal and power play goal to end the second period, and then added 4 more goals in the third for the 6-3 win. Special teams a big factor last night. The 2 power play strikes from the Prowlers, the 1 shorty. Corey Anderson with his first shift to the playoffs. He was itching to get into the lineup after just missing out on that 2022-23 Commissioner's Cup run. Mentioned his 2-year hiatus from pro hockey. Now in the lineup in game 2. He wins the faceoff. Abdella off the end board, swung in front, stopped by Nusiainen. Played back in front, and Organ corrals for the Prowlers. Saucered pass to the near side. Scantlebury will wrist it all the way around the kick plate to the far side. A collision at the half wall. Down went Jamie Bussell. It's Tucker Scantlebury, shouldered into the end boards by Noah Robinson of the hat-tricks. Chartrand to the back. Adam Heinzel, who was out of the lineup yesterday, could not keep it at the left point. Turned into an offside on Port Huron. AJ Galante will take care of the in-arena hosting duties here tonight. His season debut in the postseason. A little bit of scrambling before the game. Of course, both these teams traveling overnight to get here, get some sleep, and be ready to go for game 2. Hat-tricks got in about 10 o'clock in the morning. Took a nice long nap. I went home, took a shower, came right back to the office to get ready for this broadcast. And here we are, face-off in front of the hat-tricks bench. Hullaby and Scantlebury were jawing at each other. That continues, and again, Port Huron is offside. 1:58 gone by in the first period. We're scoreless in a win or go-home matchup for the Danbury hat-tricks. Survive and advance to game 3 tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m. in Easter Showdown. We haven't even played 2 minutes, and you might not be able to count the number of cross-checks that have happened in this game so far on 2 hands. It is chippy as can be. They're going to send Woolley and Chartrand to the box. And a message sent right off the jump that the extracurriculars will not be tolerated. There was a lot of pesky and nasty behavior last night, and William Lyons, one of the 2 referees with Justin Crawford, said, that is it. You're going to the box. It is still 5-on-5. Both players will sit for their respective teams. They drop the puck, and the Prowlers send in Justin Movalli, inserted into the lineup for Justin Ross. Zach Ross, rather. Apologies there. He's paired on defense with Zach Pamelayan. Millette from the right wing, fluttered one wide, Vacuumed in by Jacob Ratcliffe, who soars it through center. Glove down and skated towards the red line by Brett Lockhart. It'll trickle on goal, steered aside by McCullum. Mo Valley up the far wall, finds Harwell, fails to clear. Tucked back in behind the net. Hamalayan on it for Danbury. Up for Harwell this time. He does ramp it out to center. Ruiz chugging the legs, but Alex Johnson leads Reggie Millette. Errant pass off the far wall, neutral zone. Ratcliffe will scoop it in, glove down by Johnson of the Prowlers, and up ahead for Lockney, who sidesteps a stick check. Onto the blade of Millette. Right wing, he'll touch it for Johnson. Jabbed below the goal line. Charlie Bedard for the hat trick, swings it near side. Parsons keeps for Port Huron. Centering pass, loose in the slot. Frolov had an effort to clear. Instead, the puck behind the hat trick's net. Bedard took a hit from Millette, and now Bedard has the puck, charging up right wing. Headband for Frolov, and he'll force it into Port Huron territory. Keep at the left point by LaBelle. It wheels around, waiting for it, Alexander Vasiliev near half wall. He'll lift a stick, a point shot, handled by Nusiainen with the stick, and there's an outlet pass right onto the blade of Bobby Price. Scored last night, getting back Bedard. Price hits the brakes, he's at the high slot, shoots, tipped wide. A deflection by Tyler Fox, who is peeking out in front. Price now low left, he centers, too hot to handle for Luke James, who's back in the lineup for Port Huron. Bedard attempts to clear, Bussell kicks it down, bouncing puck. Van Durken to the rescue for the hat trick, sees Crunch along the boards, makes a hit, kisses it off the near glass, back out to center. As we're more than 4 minutes into the first period, no score. Bussell's drop pass, detected by LaBelle. Bussell has it back, cuts towards the goal, he's tripped up, nothing called. LaBelle then takes the spill, and on his backside, he whacks it into Port Huron's territory. Braden Simmons-Fisher, the outlet for Jamie Bussell. He'll twirl back in his own zone, leads Simmons-Fisher, who had 2 helpers yesterday. Noah Robinson streaks in left wing. Rister, blocker save Nusiainen into the netting. And a whistle. Hat-tricks took care of business in the regular season against the Prowlers. 5 wins in 7 games. And the 2 losses, just one of them, came in regulation. We've spoken about it really throughout the season, during the season series. Hat-tricks have not lost many regulation games to Port Huron. Last night, a bit of an outlier in this all-time series, but Port Huron just flat out dominated that third period en route to the win. The 3-seeded Prowlers finished the year with 95 points. Hat-tricks had 7 more in the 2 seed. Loose puck, far wall. Lucas Lockney comes away with it. He shoots, airmailed it. Rims around Johnson. He'll feather it for Millette. Camped down in the right corner. Millette forces him off the puck, and it's skied out to center. Lockhart pestered by Ruiz, and he'll fling it on goal where McCullum leaves it for Xavier Abdella. To his D partner Gonzalez. Headband for Ruiz was tangled up with Brian Parsons. A giveaway, high slot, Ruiz shoots, blocker save, Nusiainen. Harwell shoulders a Prowler into the boards, allowed Mo Valley to keep it into the zone. Price will tip it out to center. Ruiz in front of the Prowlers bench, roughed up by Federley, then heads off for a change. Price, right side of his own blue line, angles off the boards. Hamalayan whips it out to center, but Price maneuvering near the blue line. He'll clank it off the glass and behind the net. 6 minutes erased. First period of game 2. Prowlers lead the series 1-0. Chase Harwell off to the races. He'll clank it off the glass and it redirects on goal. A stop from Nusiainen, and what's new, more post-whistle activities. That's the Prowlers game. Their physicality worked to their advantage yesterday, and then an offensive explosion in the third period gave them a 6-3 win. 6:10 gone by first period. No score in game 2 from Danbury.
Charter Oak Brewing Company is a Connecticut-based craft beers brewery featuring handcrafted and innovative beers such as pale ales, lagers, India pale ales, brown ales, sours, and several seasoned, more robust beers. Pick one up at the Rabbit Hole here at the Danbury Ice Arena. Live pain-free with Danbury Chiropractic and Wellness. From adjustments to holistic treatments, we're here to help you feel your best. Book your appointment today. Wellness is just a call away. Raise a glass to locally crafted spirits at Litchfield Distillery. Handcrafted small batch whiskey, gin, and more. Visit our distillery today and taste the difference. Litchfield Distillery, batch by batch. Keep your business safe with R&R Protective Services. Expert security solutions tailored to your needs. Call us today for reliable protection you can trust. R&R Protective Services, your safety, our priority. Nothing beats an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Refresh your day with the classic taste everyone loves. Coca-Cola Northeast, bringing smiles and refreshment to your community. Products available at the Danbury Ice Arena.
Nothing better than playoff hockey. 6-10 into the second game of this best of three. Prowlers lead the series 1-0. The 6-3 victory yesterday at McMorran Arena. So far here tonight, the shots 4-3 Danbury. And an O-zone face-off they control. Mo Valley at the left point. He'll slip it in for Van Durken. Center Vasiliev shoots. It's blocked. Prowlers the other way from right to left. A chip and charge. Pamelayan retrieves for Danbury. He'll chop it to Frolov. Behind the back. Clear attempt. Fails, and Frolov has it back. He'll fend off a Price check. Gave up the puck. And now the Hat-Trick's control behind the net after Port Huron pounded it in deep. Mo Valley at the controls. Up for the shrieking Pamelayan. He'll cross-corner dump. Bucell swoops in for the Prowlers. Pamelayan goes crashing into Nucian, and the net comes off. As Parsons and Pamelayan were tied up. And now in the hat-trick zone, it looks like Bucell was taken down. They'll sort that out. Bucell huddled over. As he goes back to the bench. And both teams make full changes. Great crowd here in Danbury on a Saturday night. Everyone knows the stakes. Hat-Tricks do not want to get bounced from the postseason this early. They have Commissioner's Cup aspirations, looking to make it 2 cups in 3 years. The net is still off behind Nucianen. The officials having trouble determining who's on the ice for Port Huron. Remember, they're the visitors, so the Hat-Tricks have last change here tonight. But they were so busy with Bucell in the hat-trick zone, Pamelayan and Parsons in the blue paint that they never put the net back on the pegs. They'll handle that now. Hat-Tricks have Anderson, Hullaby, and Robinson out there, the third line. LaBelle and Bedard on the blue line. Just 7 combined shots about 7 minutes in to period 1. Face off at the far side circle, Matt Graham against Corey Anderson. An illegal drop. And the official touching his chest saying, I'm sorry, as Anderson was not established. Lots of stop and start. Not what these teams want. They want flow. Especially in a playoff game. Hat-Tricks win the draw. Robinson hauled down as he was trying to release the puck. Referees have let these guys play as the Prowlers crank it off the glass and out, so no penalty for delay of game. Hat-Tricks were hoping they'd go to the man advantage. Instead, the face-off shifts over to the right circle, Prowler zone. And I believe we're going to get Graham and Anderson again. Choppy start in game 2. Hat-Tricks need a win or their season is over. Their big offensive performers were stymied last night, especially in that third period. Didn't hear much from the Russians, and that's been their DNA all season. Matt Graham racing after the puck behind his own net. He'll whip up the near side wall, out to center ice. Graham to Lockney, offside at the line, right side of the blue line. And the whistle blows with 12:33 remaining here in the first period. No score, and Hullaby took a glove to the face from Graham behind McCullum. Have to be alert almost every whistle. There's at least one interaction between these two teams. The rivalry grew nastier and nastier as the season went on, and came to a boil yesterday in game one. Harwell claps it down the ice. Icing waved off as Nusiainen wheels it around, kicks off the far corner. A clear attempt, swatted back in by Ruiz. Johnson on the second effort, poking at it. Harwell self-pass, and Graham will chop it out to neutral ice. Back down at Abdella, the lead, Ratcliffe left wing. He'll snow shower, slips it for Harwell, backhand pass redirected off the end boards, and Graham headbends Millette. Left wing, he'll weave towards the middle. Now on the right wing, Ozone. He shoots, saved by McCullum, gobbled it up. And Abdella shoving Millette away from the crease. Danbury making it a point to protect Connor McCullum here tonight. They didn't believe they did a good enough job of that yesterday. Nothing around their netminder. That goal number one here tonight. So Millette last night had 2 goals and assists in 4 penalty minutes. He was all over the place. Outstanding power forward, third in goals, assists, and points on the team in the regular season. Very nice guy off the ice. Had a couple brief interactions with him pre-game. Very nice guy. I guess until he hits the surface, which is fair enough. Game on. 11:51 to play, first period. Scoreless from Danbury, game 2. Prowlers lead the series 1-0. Off the D-zone draw, it's Abdella. Stationed behind the net. Now up the right side, errant pass through Gonzalez to Frolov, who backhands it into the Prowler zone. Organ receives the tap from Nusiainen. Elevated pass right onto the blade of Bobby Price. He'll walk around Abdella. Price centers off the skate of Mo Valley. He'll scoop it back up in the corner. Drops it off for Tyler Fox. He gets crunched in the corner. Abdella wraps him up. James and Van Durken join the scrum. 2 black jerseys, 2 white. James comes out of it. He'll drop it off the back of the net. Abdella taken down in front, but he does find Frolov. Tape-to-tape pass Vasiliev on right wing Ozone. He'll center for Frolov. Back check applied. Scantlebury gets there and glides it onto the stick of Fox, who will tuck it in deep, go to the bench for a change, as we've leaked under 11 minutes remaining in the first period. Shots even at 4 and no score. Pamelayan right up the gut for Robinson. Leaves it left side Anderson. He shoots, tipped off the back glass. A race for it. Hullaby smashes Johnson, but the Prowlers rainbow it through center. Mo Valley bats it out of the air for Anderson on left wing. Veers middle, left it for Robinson. He'll pass in front for Hullaby. Whacked around, and Millette plays it to the far corner. Hurls it down the ice. And icing called on Port Huron as we creep closer to the midway point of the first period.
Litchfield Distillery, in honor of the early farmers of Northwest Connecticut, present to you the locally made Litchfield Distillery bourbon, vodka, and gin. Grab at the rabbit hole and hoist the barrel with the hat trick.
An unusual 8 p.m. start here tonight, typically 7 o'clock on Saturdays in Danbury, but both teams agreeing the extra hour was needed for travel. Mentioned these teams leaving Port Huron last night, getting in this morning. Patrick's control off the right circle draw, give it away to Lockney. For Millette, steps over the red line and flutters it into the left corner. Lockney beats LaBelle there. He'll chop it around for the waiting Millette. He's stapled to the corner by Bedard. Clear attempt kept in, and a shot skitters wide left. Harwell will angle it off the boards. Glove down, and Johnson shoots it off of Harwell. Played back for Bedard. Indirectly off the far wall for Ratcliffe, and it trampolines off his stick back into Danbury territory. Ratcliffe backtracking in his own zone. Now will shoot off the glass. Bussell, left wing, offensive zone. He'll swirl back, leaves it for Scantlebury, smashed by Harwell. Scantlebury is down, a penalty called. Scantlebury not moving in the left corner now. He rolls over to his side in that left corner hat-trick zone. He was demolished by Harwell, dumped in the corner, and Harwell will sit. And based on the severity of this penalty, this could be costly for the hat-tricks, who allowed 2 power play goals yesterday on 7 tries. So AJ Galante on the in-arena mic. They'll tend to Tucker Scantlebury. We'll hit a break. 9:24 remaining first period. No score.
Need tickets for your next event? Tixter makes it simple to buy, sell, and manage tickets. Get your Hat Tricks tickets today at Tixter.com, because every event starts with the right ticket. Need tools for your next project? Decker Tool Rental HO Pen has everything you need for DIY or professional jobs. Quality tools, expert advice. Rent with confidence at Decker Tool Rental. Cool off with a treat from Twister's Ice Cream Cafe. Delicious ice cream in every flavor imaginable. Stop by Twister's today and treat yourself to something sweet. Products available at the Danbury Ice Arena. Craving wings and good times? Head to TK's American Cafe. With the best wings in town and a fun atmosphere, it's the perfect place to hang out. Visit TK's American Cafe and try the Hat Tricks wings today.
Game 2 of the opening round. Hat-tricks trailing the Prowlers 1-0 in the series. The game scoreless with 9:24 remaining in period 1. Shots are even at 4 apiece, but the Prowlers to the man advantage for the first time tonight. Chase Harwell boarding the call after he smushed Tucker Scantlebury in the left corner. And now Danbury's penalty kill to work. They were 5 for 7 yesterday, allowing the 2 power play goals. And Port Huron can take a 1-0 lead. They control off this face-off. Millette at the right point. Standing on the blue line. Federally, center point, opens up. Lockney left circle, low left. Graham tries to pass. Lockney follows, shoots, save by McCullum. Free puck behind the net. Lockney one-hands it to the far corner for Johnson. To the back, Millette swings it across for Federley. Back for Millette. Straight away pass deflected wide. Johnson on the right doorstep. Ratcliffe steals it, and he lifts it out to center ice. Millette softly for Graham on right wing. They'll gain the right side of the blue line, and again Ratcliffe clears the zone. 45 seconds gone by on the power play. We approach 8.5 minutes left in period 1 from Danbury. And no score. Win or go home matchup for the Hat-tricks. Trying to force a game 3 tomorrow. Bobby Price into the zone. Left wing. He'll snow shower. Walks up the wall. The lefty gives for Simmons Fisher in the corner. Back for Price. To the point. Organ all the way across. It's Lockhart shooting. Tipped wide. Simmons Fisher, the big-bodied Prowler, standing in front. And could not get a piece. He has it though, right wing. Drops it for Scantlebury. Angled to the back, Lockhart. He tried to filter it down low. Turned over to LaBelle. And he'll shoot it down the ice. 20 seconds left on the kill. Organ across ice, given away right to the stick of LaBelle. And he'll snap it the length of the ice. Prowlers with one more opportunity to take it 200 feet from right to left. From coast to coast, Scantlebury lost control, got it back, he dragged, shoots, tipped out of play by Bedard. Something he did quite a bit last night. Charlie Bedard, stick in the right spot more times than not. Final 3 seconds of the Harwell boarding penalty. Hat-tricks fortunate it wasn't more than a minor, but Scantlebury okay as he led that rush. Now he'll sit. Graham, Millette, Lockney, Johnson, and Parsons out there as the power play expires. Hat-tricks send it down. Harwell out of the box. He's up front now with Ratcliffe Ruiz. Abdella and Gonzalez man the back end. Abdella pestered. Finds Gonzalez behind the goal. Harwell handcuffed. Will slip it for Gonzalez. Abdella up the near wall for Ratcliffe, and he'll rainbow it through center. Off the right glove of Parsons, and he will punch it in. Abdella, D to D for Gonzalez, but deflected by Lockney. Millette gets there first, chips it to the back, over the stick of Simmons Fisher. Van Durken sprinting forward, and Simmons Fisher with the long reach got there. Connected with Heinzel, and now up for Millette. Will bank it off the far wall, bouncing puck at center. And again, it's shot in by Simmons Fisher, who collided with Alexander Vasiliev. Lead pass for Van Durken. He'll flip it into the right corner. Icing waved off. Price ramps it out to center. And in stride, here comes Fox on the left wing. Tried to center, redirected out to neutral ice. It's Connor Woolley chugging up the right wing, gains the line. The trailer's Vasiliev. He puts it towards goal, got tripped up in the slot, and the refs hold on to the whistle. We play on. Prowlers from right to left. Under 6 to go in the first, no score. Price pounds it off the end boards. Mo Valley has it for the hat tricks. The lead for Anderson did not get a piece. And icing called on Danbury. Face-off comes back at the hat tricks end. Not a spot to be had in TK's corner tonight. And most of the seats occupied. Hat-tricks fans showing up and showing out for this elimination game for Danbury. Win and we play tomorrow. Lose and the season comes to an end. That would be quite a disappointment to spoil a 100-point season, and they score! Right off the face-off, Tucker Scantlebury, a wrister, weave through the bodies. The Prowlers on the board first with 5:44 remaining in period one. Tucker Scantlebury, who split time between the Prowlers and the SPHL, had 19 goals in the regular season through 40 games. And he gives the Prowlers a 1-0 lead with about 6 minutes to play in the first period. A right circle draw, Tucker Scantlebury corralled, and he wristed it past McCullum, who had trouble seeing it with traffic in front. 1-0 Port Huron. Off the center ice face-off, LaBelle shoots in. Glove down by Nusiainen. Puck out to center, Bussell sidesteps the Anderson check. It rims around the dasher. Giveaway behind the cage. Chartrand for the Prowlers. Right corner. Elevated pass to Organ. Left point shoots. Engulfed by McCullum and no crumbs. Chartrand gets a stick up. Into the face of Robinson. More shoving. Scantlebury and Robinson. Refs step in. Prowlers up 1-0. But Danbury led 2-0. More than 8 minutes into the second period yesterday, and then the wheels completely fell off, allowed 6 in a row in a game that just got away from them. The goal, Scantlebury from Bussell at 14-15, and a 1-0 advantage for Port Huron. Louise wins the face-off back for LaBelle. He'll bank it off the glass out to center. An errant pass in the direction of Graham resulted in icing. And he can bring the face-off back into the Prowler zone just ahead of our final media timeout of the first period. You can feel the nerves here inside the DIA. They know what is at stake here. A goal from Danbury would go a long way. Face off at the right circle. It's Graham against Ruiz. They're tied up, and now they're going to kick Ruiz out. Most of these removals of the face-off guy are from the wings, who are just getting tied up. They're either jumping too early, but the Hat-Tricks have two center icemen on their top line, and Harwell steps in. He wins the draw. Back to Bedard. Rister, gloved by Nusiainen, as Ruiz was a bit late passing through. Bedard pressured, though, at the line. Had to get the shot off, or it might have been blocked. Hat-tricks in a 1-0 hole here in Game 2. They trail the series 1-0 as well. Trying to take advantage of home ice advantage. Off the right circle draw. Simmons Fisher wheels it around for James. Right onto the stick of Federley. He'll charge in left wing. Hits the break. Centers. Darting in is James. His shot stopped. James shot out of a cannon, had 2 looks at the goal as he zipped right through the D. Ruiz for Harwell. Right wing. Sauce pass. Redirected away by Nusiainen. Ratcliffe whacks it into the corner. Low to high, LaBelle to the near side. Abdella tried to kick at it. He'll poke it to the right corner. Ratcliffe knocked off his stick. Price intercepted by Ratcliffe. And now LaBelle gets the red, gets the blue around Simmons Fisher. Tripped up, and he drew a call. Now Van Durken's got to be careful here as Scantlebury gave him a couple cross checks, trying to even things up potentially. Final timeout on the ice. Hat-tricks get their first power play of the game. When we come back, Prowlers up 1-0, 4:15 remaining. First period, win or go home in Game 2 from Danbury.
Your car deserves the best. Crossroads Car Wash keeps your vehicle looking fresh and clean. Fast, affordable, and eco-friendly. Stop by today. Crossroads Car Wash, where a clean car is a happy car. Transform your yard with Yard Goats Landscaping. From lawn care to custom designs, we bring your outdoor vision to life. Call Yard Goats today and make your yard the envy of the neighborhood. Looking for a brighter smile? Stony Hill Dental Care offers expert dental services for the whole family. Schedule your appointment today. Stony Hill Dental Care, where your smile comes first. Get the best cuts of meat with Omaha Beef Company. Fresh, premium beef delivered right to your door. Taste the difference with Omaha Beef, where quality is always on the menu. Products available at the Danbury Ice Arena. Need reliable stormwater solutions? Coltech Inc. provides innovative water management systems for residential and commercial properties. Coltech, solutions you can count on, quality you can trust.
Hat-tricks trail the Prowlers 1-0, 4:15 the reading on the clock. First period, shot 7-4 in favor of Port Huron. The lone goal this game, Scantlebury from Bussell at 14-15, but Danbury to the man advantage. First time in this game. Hat-tricks scored very late in the third period yesterday, went 1 for 7. Third-ranked power play in the league in the regular campaign. Bouncing puck right circle, Woolley settles. Gonzalez whips it across for Vasiliev. He'll climb down the wall, centers for Van Durken. Head fake, back into the corner, Vasiliev centers. Frolov, stuff try, kicked out. It's free, it's under Frolov, they poke. Woolley backhander, stopped by Nusiainen. It's free, no goal, covered by Nusiainen in the blue paint. Sprawling and diving Nusiainen in the crease. And he keeps it a 1-0 Prowlers lead. Under 4 minutes remaining in the period. A strong move from Frolov. He tried to stuff it in. Left pad save, and then it squirted free for Woolley, who put it right into the pad of Nusiainen. And he just kicked it out with Heinzel in front as well. Face off at the right circle. Hat-tricks with 1:34 to work with on the man advantage. So Chartrand will be removed. Price stepping in after Oregon whacked Frolov. Van Durken wins the draw. Frolov to the point, barely kept in by Vasiliev. Slipped inside, Van Durken shoots! Right toe save, Nusiainen. And the Prowlers clear. A couple of great looks from the Hat-tricks Russians here on this power play. Nothing to show for it. Gonzalez quarterbacks the second unit. Van Durken weaving in left wing. Sidestepped hit from Lockhart. Port Huron will scale it down the ice. Quick up McCullum for Vasiliev left wing. Over the blue line, into the far corner. He'll shoot it around. Bouncing puck. Harwell keeps it. Ratcliffe stapled to the boards. Gives off for Van Durken right corner. To the back, Ratcliffe. He'll walk the line. Hands off, LaBelle. Low left, Vasiliev. Around the net, Van Durken. To the back, Ratcliffe shoots over the net. Pops off the end glass, and Federley cranks it off the plexi and all the way down. 2:45 to go, first period. Hattrick still on the power play for 30 seconds. Simmons Fisher in the box. LaBelle tape to tape, Ratcliffe right wing. He'll leave it for the trailing LaBelle. Back for Ratcliffe up top. Ruiz had handcuffed him, threw his legs out to center. Hattrick's captain looking for the one-timer at that left circle. He scored a lot of goals from that spot. Kicks off the skate of Hullaby, and Nusiainen will clear it himself. Power play is over. Ruiz tried to chip in charge. It was denied. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play in this first period. 1-0 Prowlers with about 2 minutes to go in the opening frame. The only goal, Scantlebury, off a face-off win from Bussell at the outer ring of the right circle. LaBelle methodically from behind the net. Now over the center ice logo. He'll gain the red and scoop it in right corner. Johnson's clear attempt, kept alive by Woolley. He'll drop it for the trailing Pamelayan. He could not keep. Just leaked out of the zone. And the face-off comes just outside the Prowler zone. Just in front of the Port Huron bench. Bussell against Van Durken for the face-off. Van Durken wins it clean. Mo Valley shoots off the right pillow of Nusiainen. Mo Valley with a hit near the left point, and then he gets dumped by Simmons Fisher. We play on. Bussell cuts, shoots, saved by McCullum. So action on both ends. Mo Valley, very physical player for the Hattricks, draws in for Zach Ross tonight. Organ keeps it at the left point. Filtered behind the net. Lockney centers off a skate, free in front. Bussell jams it over the net. Loose puck behind the cage. Chartrand in front. Scantlebury couldn't uncork. Poke to the left point. Organ. He'll head fake. Tries to send it in deep. Free in the slot. Woolley. Helped out by Van Durken as he lumberjacks it into Port Huron territory. Final minute of the period. Pamelayan takes it away from Scantlebury softly off the far wall. Anderson helps it out to center ice. Millette glued to the boards by Anderson. They're still tied up. Noah Robinson, 1-on-2 into the zone. He'll throw it in deep. Pass angled off the far boards for Millette, who will take his time. Backtracks in his zone. Final 30 of the first period. 1-0 Prowlers. Elevated off the far wall. Lockney, the only Prowler in the zone. He'll give up possession to Gonzalez with just 15 on the clock. A reverse course to Abdella. Long pass. Anderson says he got a piece, but no, they call icing on the Hattricks with just 9.4 remaining in the period. Prowlers up 1-0 off the Bussell O-Zone draw win from this same right circle, and it will Scantlebury, who just darted from the right hash of the circle to the middle, took the puck and wristed it home. Anderson against Bussell off the icing. Chartrand backhands it through the slot. Hullaby will hammer it off the boards out to center. Johnson on one knee. And 20 minutes in the books in Game 2 of the Empire Division semifinals. The only goal, Tucker Scantlebury from Jamie Bussell at 14:15. It was the Hattricks who possessed a 1-0 lead after one yesterday. They grew the lead to 2 and then surrendered the 6 goals in a row in the Game 1 defeat. Lots at stake for the Hattricks. If they fall flat in this one, their season is over. If not, we're back here tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Bring your Easter eggs, your rabbit ears, and get ready for a Game 3, if there is one. 40 minutes and maybe more will decide that. These teams have played a lot of barn burners. Hattricks have used the third period to their advantage quite a bit in this season series. Many will remember that barn burner. Couple of them. Hat-tricks winning 6-5 in a shootout on the 22nd of February. Gleb Van Durken, the winner in the shootout. And then Hat-tricks took down the Prowlers in overtime. 3-2 on March 1st. That night, Kyle Gonzalez scored the game winner in that one. Nick Vial with the t-shirt gun almost got one up here into the broadcast booth. He's got a lot of power with that t-shirt cannon. Fans on their feet. They all want a t-shirt. Shirts are flying. Lots to enjoy, lots to celebrate. Playoff hockey, nothing really better. Here in the Danbury Ice Arena. As the t-shirts continue to fly, we will head to break and hear from Wyatt Kopelman, who talked with Hat-Tricks general manager Matt Voidy during the week. We won't get through all of it, but we'll get through enough to get the gist. If you want the full version, you can watch it on our YouTube channel. After one period of play, Prowlers up 1-0 in Game 2 of the Empire Division semifinals. Port Huron wins. They're on to the second round. Hat-Tricks come from behind in this one. They will force a Game 3 tomorrow. We'll come on back for the second period. This is Danbury Hat-Tricks playoff hockey on the Hat-Tricks Digital Network.
The 2025 Commissioners Cup playoffs are here as the Danbury Hat-Tricks have locked up the 2 seed and know their opponent. It's the 3 seed Port Huron Prowlers, and it starts this weekend in what is a road game for the Hat-Tricks in Port Huron, Michigan on Friday. Then they come back home on Saturday for a home game. In case it's necessary, it's going to be Game 3 on Sunday, again at the Danbury Ice Arena. Wyatt Kopelman here with Matt Voidy, the general manager of the Hat-Tricks. And Matt, before we get into everything that the postseason can present a team like the Hat-Tricks, especially one that sets out to get a Commissioners Cup championship for the second time in 3 seasons, just take a look back on Saturday's win. It was a 5-2 win against the Watertown Wolves. A very resounding response from the team, especially after what it did against Binghamton on Friday. What were some of your overall takeaways? How do you think the team did, particularly offensively, to finish the regular season strong?
I thought our energy was good, coming off of Binghamton. I know some guys were pretty down, a little bit discouraged about it. So it was good to see that for sure. I think offensively, we were right back at it. We had a little more ice to work with, and we took advantage of it, and we had some good chances that we were able to finish on.
Do you think you got enough pucks to the net on Saturday against Watertown? Now, I know you were kind of in the mid-20s at Binghamton on Friday. Do you think the getting pucks to the net on Saturday was something that was much needed to get the scoring chances that you had?
Of course, yeah. I mean, you have to get the puck on net to score, and I thought we did a good job of that. I thought we were a little more, sometimes a little bit too patient with it, but I think overall it was pretty good.
You had a 2-1 lead in the middle of that game, in the middle frame that is, and it looked like Watertown had a little bit of an answer, especially on the power play. Both goals were via special teams, but Johnny Ruiz, Dylan Hullaby, they each had 2 goals to help lift the Hat-Tricks to victory and really get the offensive performance needed to hopefully translate into the playoffs. What did you think they did so well to set up themselves for success offensively?
I think they were in the right spots. They took the right routes to the puck, and Holly definitely, took advantage of. I think the goalie was a little bit out of position there, but he got the shot off. He got off from a good distance. It wasn't too close where the goalie has a little bit more of an advantage. And Johnny's just Johnny, just keeps on keeping on.
He keeps on keeping on. He tipped home the game-winning goal just 20 seconds into the third period off of Chase Harwell's miss from the middle of the left circle. So really says a lot about not only the meaning of skill on the ice, but also the timing and also positioning on the ice as well to get home a couple of goals, especially one that may not be that unique or dazzling in terms of skill level, but it was a good win for the Hat-Tricks. They won 5-2 against the Watertown Wolves, and now you have a wild card game this year, so it'll be interesting to see how the Wolves play against the Rockers in the 4 versus 5 matchup. matchup, but particularly for this team this weekend, it faced two very familiar opponents, two of which, the Binghamton Black Bears and the Watertown Wolves, that the Hat-Tricks faced at the start of the season very often in the first 6 weeks of the year. Did either of these games, the atmospheres this team played in this weekend, did those feel like playoff atmospheres to this team?
It's certainly Friday night and bingo did. I think Saturday night did. I think, you know, we kind of owned the game for, you know, from the beginning. So I don't think it quite had that same feel, but I think Binghamton had it for sure. So that was definitely good to feel for the guys.
And what did you tell your team going into Saturday night? And of course, you want to finish on a high note. The points, they didn't have any implications anymore because the team had the number 2 seed for about 2 weeks already. It was set to face Port Huron. What did you tell this team in order to give the fans the right showing that they deserve, and of course, the team the offensive momentum it needed to go into the playoffs?
You know, it was really just about how we play and how we play going into the playoffs. You want to have a good game. You want that last game to be good and your details to be good. And you know, it's easy. You know, it's easy for us as coaches to say that. You know, you know, remember when you play, like, you know, the game. I think you have nothing to play for, but it doesn't really affect too much, and you're kind of already looking ahead. And I think we were doing that a little bit Friday. I think our details could have been much better. But I think they got better as we went on. But that was pretty much the message: is, you know, let's go into the playoffs executing the right way.
I know you mentioned after the win on Saturday how much details would still be a point of emphasis in practice this week. Is that something that only requires a lot of saying to the players in practice, or are there certain things that you can do to make that a big part of what you're doing to prepare for Port Huron?
Well, I think, you know, you look at the video and you pick out the details, and you make sure you have drills that point out those details or bring those details out. And, you know, we've done a lot of that the last 2 days. So it's more than just us saying to them. It's reminding them. I mean, you have to constantly remind guys and really get down to you know, I think sometimes with coaching but even at this level, you have to be willing to get down to like a granular level of, okay, this is exactly what I need you to do, or this is exactly the read you need to make, and that sort of thing, instead of just saying, okay, well, this detail here, and you have to kind of get them into that moment and show them, and that can take some time, and it takes a lot of patience.
It takes a lot of patience. It takes time, especially with a blend of rookies as well as even some veterans who have played for different coaches in the FPHL, professional hockey. Alexander Vasiliev, he's on a new stretch right now, especially having formerly played in the KHL. When you look at a player like Vasi, he has 5 goals, 8 assists since returning from the IR. I know we've talked about him a little bit, but how much do you foresee him being a difference maker on his line come postseason when it's not just about having a dynamite top line?
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, I've talked to these guys about that, you know, for a couple of weeks now. You know, we need contributions up and down the lineup. Like, can't just rely on one guy, and, you know, whether it's Van Durken, whether it's Johnny, whether it's Hardy or whoever, everyone's got to be able to chip in, you know, at the right time. You know, timely goals, timely plays. You know, Vasi, he's a pro. I think he's been really good. I think he's played his best hockey since coming off the IR. Good roots, good feet, a little more physical, just making good decisions. And, you know, sometimes you have that much skill, you get a little too cute, but he's able to reel himself back. And so I expect him to be a difference maker for us.
Speaking of making a difference, when you see somebody like that who may get a little bit too glamorous with the puck, if you will, try and, you know, create opportunities in the neutral zone instead of fitting within the systems, do you feel like that can set an example for the rookies in order to steer clear from doing that and playing within the plan or strategics for the team it has to go out and win?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just goes to our, you know, part of our culture and having accountability. And, you know, I mean, the film doesn't lie, you know, at the end of the day. And I think everyone sees where everyone's kind of taken their lumps this year and have had to been held accountable, whether it's Johnny, whether it's, you know, a kid like Dimitri Christou. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, you're going to be held accountable. And I think when, you know, a player like Vasi being able to be held accountable, you know, willing to be held accountable, that's really the most important thing. Whether it's about holding onto the puck or whatever, his willingness to be held accountable and take the coaching, take the teaching, take the lesson, I think that goes a long way with the younger guys.
In the last 3 weekends, this team has exploded offensively for the most part. It's averaged just more than 5 goals per game over the last 3 weekends. It's played some different opponents in terms of skill, in terms of strategics, the Dashers to the Black Bears to the Wolves, even HC Venom. That was a relative barn burner, 5-4 victory in that makeup game a couple weeks ago over in Poughkeepsie. What excites you the most about how this team is earning the scoring chances? Is the team earning a lot of scoring chances going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, like you talk about the different levels of teams we've played, and it's sometimes that's the challenge in and of itself, you know, especially like, you know, I look back at that Mississippi game, and I think early on, we were doing things really well, and, you know, but then we start to realize how much ice we have when we start to slow down and get a little comfortable, and then the next night it's maybe not quite as much, and because you kind of sniff it out and you kind of know, you know, or you get a little overconfident. I think we're doing things the right way. I think being able to shift from having so much ice to having less ice when you play at Binghamton has probably been our biggest challenge. But I think that kind of does start a little bit more from our transition. You know, whether it's just coming off a D-zone possession or an actual, you know, they chip a puck into the neutral zone and we're moving it up. You know, I think we can be a little bit better there. I think we can be a little bit quicker, just realizing we have a little bit less time, but it also can help us because it keeps things pretty simple, right? It's just D to D wall or, you know, D to D flip, depending on what the play is. So I think that's probably been our biggest challenge. I think we're doing things right. I think we have the right ideas. I think it just, you know, now going into the playoffs, you know, whether it's Port, whether it's Bingo, like we have to realize there's just going to be a little bit less ice or a lot less ice in some cases, and we have to, you know, simplify our game to be successful.
You've been with this franchise since its inception back in 2019. Of course, you had a major role in leading this team to its first Commissioner's Cup title back in 2023. Now Johnny, first time as a co-head coach, he's in the playoffs after a winning season. He's worn the C on his chest. We've talked a little bit about the responsibilities, having that off the ice, and then also playing, coaching as well. As you consider how this team finished the season 6-4 in its final 10 games, you have a mix of talent with rookies, with veterans who, some of which have seen this league more than others, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to turn in wins. You don't want to be in a situation where you play a third game and you could potentially rest up for another opponent. Then again, it's about going one game at a time. How do you keep a mix of experience focused on preparing the right way in practice this week and of course, playing for one another, whether they're rookies or they're third, fourth year veterans?
I mean, I think everyone kind of, you can't replace experience, right? Like, if you haven't been through it, and we do have some guys who haven't been through it. They haven't been, you know, maybe they were in a playoff in junior or college, but they haven't been through something like this where it's 3-3, the travel's, you know, crazy, for, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But that's where, you know, we have a good veteran group that's going to talk to those guys and help them through it, you know, and show them some things that can help them to preserve their bodies and to recover, you know, especially when we come back from Port on Friday night, Saturday morning. You know, and I think the experience, I think we have enough experience, you know, when we get to those game threes that we'll be okay. You know, we're not completely raw, we're not completely green, so I think, you know, the experiences we've had over the last couple of years are going to be big. I mean, there's still a lot of guys in that room that played in Motor City last year that played to 3-3 with Bingo the year before. So,
have you noticed a lot of them step up in practice, even as the team's getting off the ice and going back to change in the dressing room, just engaging or sparking some conversations about curbing that excitement for the
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I see it like in those situations, but I mean, I know it's happening.
Back inside the Danbury Ice Arena, a couple moments away from the start of the second period in Game 2 of Round 1. Prowlers lead the series 1-0. 6-3 victory at McMorran Arena yesterday. Both teams traveling overnight. And through 20 minutes, it's 1-0 Prowlers. Jamie Bussell won an offensive zone faceoff. Right back to Tucker Scantlebury, who ripped his first goal of the postseason. 14-15 the time of the goal. 4 total penalties in that period. You had the coincidental minors, Woolley and Chartrand, inciting an opponent. Both got 10-minute misconducts at 1:58, very early on in that first period. Harwell called for boarding as he crunched Scantlebury in the near corner. Prowlers did not score on that power play. And then holding on Braden Simmons-Fisher at 15:45 set the hat-tricks up on the man advantage. Had a couple good looks at Valtteri Nusiainen, but nothing getting past the netminder. Both of these teams among the hottest down the stretch. Prowlers won 11 of their final 13 games. They scored over 5 goals per game down the stretch. Didn't lose many games in March and early April and positioned themselves well in the second spot. Hat-tricks had an up and down first half of the year. It took 2 losses to the Blue Ridge Bobcats on the road, including a 6-0 shutout. And then the hat-tricks were nearly unflappable as Danbury went on to win 22 of their final 30 games, securing points in 25 of the last 30. And in 2025, they were 14-1-2 at home. Hat-tricks have been kept in check offensively. Just had the 3 goals yesterday, a team that averaged over 4 per contest in the regular campaign, scored the second most total goals in the regular season. Prowlers averaged 3.7, 6th most in terms of total during the year. Prowlers were in the top 5 in goals against, allowed the 5th fewest during the regular season. And have done a nice job keeping the big guns off the board for Danbury through game 1 in a period. The question remains, when will we hear from Gleb Van-Durken, Alexander Vasiliev, and Vadim Frolov? The dynamic Russian line. Van-Durken did have 2 assists yesterday, but he was Danbury's top goal scorer and point producer in the regular season. Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. Had 10 multi-point games in his final 26 of the regular season. 17 total multi-point games out of 49 in his rookie campaign. He put up the 4th most points ever in a single season for a hat-tricks player at 64. And so far in this playoff, he does have the 2 assists. Vasiliev had a helper in game 1 as well. But it's very noticeable when the chemistry is clicking between the 3 Russians. That just has not been the case. Prowlers have taken away time and space. But that is playoff hockey. Get to the dirty areas, chip home some goals. And Danbury facing a 1-goal deficit. Flip sides with the Prowlers. They'll move from right to left, shoot at Nusiainen, who's in between the left cage. The only goal of the game, Scantlebury at 14-15. Shots finished up 11-10, favoring the hat-tricks. Second period, game 2 from Danbury. Here we go. Hat-tricks need to win to keep the series alive. Lost to the Prowlers yesterday for just the third time ever in the all-time series. It's glove down. Johnson at the left point. He'll wrist one on goal, and a glove save by McCullum. 26 seconds in. And once again, some rough stuff post-whistle. Referees have made it clear that some is tolerated, but they've been against the pre-face-off jostling. A little bit after the whistle, not as much as yesterday, but with playoff hockey, every inch, every battle, mind games go on, and the refs letting it happen. Harwell will shoot in, racing after it, Ruiz. It's swung around to the near side, spits out to the point. Ratcliffe turnaround shot blocked by Federley, whose stick went flying. Followed up by Organ, up ahead for Price, sprinting in right wing. He'll hit the brakes. Bedard in his pocket. Price in the slot. Wrist shot blocked. Organ scoops up and swats it below the goal line. Fox rubbed out of the right corner by LaBelle. Ratcliffe up ahead for Ruiz on right wing. Tries to force one to Ratcliffe. And now a 2-on-1 for Port Huron. Chartrand, left wing, he's all the way in the corner. Centers off the back of the net. LaBelle went down to a knee and prevented the pass. It's cranked around. Heinzel keeps left point. He winds, fires, chest save. Rebound swept away by Bedard. And the puck trickles out to center. Rolling towards Nusiainen, and icing waved off. Simmons Fisher back for it. A little more than 1:30 gone by in the second period. In a 1-0 game, Prowlers in front. And they lead the series 1-0. Gonzalez dropping for the trailer, and a wrist shot Frolov off the blocker. Vasiliev double teamed along the near half wall. Lockhart will chip it for Johnson, who emerges up the left wing and leads Millette. Handcuffed him a bit, but he chips and charges in on Abdella. Loose puck careens off that far corner. Frolov settles it down. Abdella pressured, lost it to Lockney. He'll recover, tied up with Lockney in that right corner. Gonzalez feathers it for Van Durken. Head is up, looking for the stretch pass to Vasiliev. Got a piece, no icing. Organ had it poked off of his stick. Frolov goes for the hit, leaves the puck, and it's shoveled out to center, where Pamelayan will backtrack. He'll flip it through center ice, drops down, and Johnson for the Prowlers will wheel it around. Received left wing Lockney. Gains the offensive zone. Across for Federley. He shoots, tipped out of play by Mo Valley, and into the netting. A stoppage with just about 3 minutes to race in this second period. Patrick's in search of their first goal of the game. First goal on home ice in the playoffs. They hosted just one game in the 2024 Commissioner's Cup playoffs last year, falling to the Rockers in overtime, game one. They'll remove Corey Anderson. Noah Robinson replaces him against Tyler Fox. Prowlers control. Banked off the near boards, rolling into the far corner. Fox hip checks Mo Valley. And again, that far corner becoming a factor as a point shot deflected off a couple of bodies in front. We've seen it 3-4 times where that puck is kicked off the boards and out in front. It's burned the hat-tricks a couple of times this season. Something to watch out for throughout the game. Out of the scrum, it's Pamelayan. Paired on defense here with Mo Valley. Pamelayan, who was the third-line center for the majority of the season, utilizes the D-man through the first two games here. Harwell outnumbered in the Prowler zone. He's fishing for the puck. He wins it. Harwell swings it in front all the way through. Receives Scantlebury for the Prowlers. He shot it out of play. Directly out off the bleachers. And they get Scantlebury delay of game. 3:47 into the second period. Hat-tricks go up a man. Second opportunity of the game. They're 0 for 1. Hat-tricks in the regular season were 7 for 39. That's about 18% against the Prowlers through 7 games. Mentioned yesterday, they were 1 for 8. Looking for the equalizer with Scantlebury in the box. Top unit on, Hullaby. Back to the right point, LaBelle. Only D-man on this unit. Center point, Ratcliffe. Back for LaBelle. Filters down low for Hullaby. He'll leave it for Harwell. Chases after it, gets smeared along the end boards. Puck squirts free for Graham. Outlet pass taken away by Ruiz. Tried to re-enter. Hop the stick of LaBelle. Bouncing puck near the blue line. And then it is whacked down the ice. 30 seconds gone on the Scantlebury delay of game. Hat-tricks trail the Prowlers by 1 in game 2 of the first round. Luke James shorthanded, sprung up the left wing, getting back Harwell. James shoots, saved by McCullum. He doesn't know where it is. He'll leave it off for Ratcliffe. Prowlers did score a shorthanded goal yesterday. It was their first goal of the game. Bobby Price buried one on a breakaway. Puck eluded Ratcliffe at the near point, and that got the Prowlers in the game. Frolov took a slash, and it's called immediately. Frolov dropped his stick and everything and is now gliding back to the Hat-tricks bench, grabbing at his hand-wrist area. What an opportunity now for Danbury. 5-on-3 for 50 seconds. As Chartrand sits again for Port Huron. A golden opportunity to tie the game. Harwell, Van Durken, Vasiliev with Ruiz and LaBelle. Hat-tricks win the faceoff, trickles back to Ruiz. To the back, LaBelle walks in, he shoots, scores! Just what the doctor ordered. Josh LaBelle right off the draw, steps into a wrister. A 5-on-3 power play goal. We are tied 5 minutes into the second. Hat-tricks won it back. LaBelle in the high slot, rips it inside the right post. Beat Nusiainen clean under the glove. LaBelle's second goal of the playoffs. Had one yesterday, and he evens the score. And Danbury might not be done yet. Just 5 seconds into the Chartrand slash. Now it's a 5-on-4 power play for Danbury. And a brand new hockey game, 1-1. Josh LaBelle, who had a career-high 10 goals in the regular season, snapped one home yesterday from the blue line. And here tonight, he picks his spot, finds the back of the net, 1-1. Weaving in Van Durken left wing, he'll drop it for Vasiliev. Straight away Gonzalez, giving off. Pass to the right corner, Woolley. To the back, Gonzalez. Near side, Vasiliev. Pass down low, tip save, rebound. Trickles just wide on the right post. Woolley on the follow-up. Heinzel backhands it out to center. Nusiainen gets his stick back. Van Durken fumbles near the blue line. He'll locate Woolley. Left wing, over the blue. Woolley centers, Robinson shoots, just missed the net. Free puck in the slot, Van Durken shot save, rebound, free in front. They whack away, Robinson shoots, missed the target. A wrister from the high slot. Woolley keeps it alive. Sliding it, Vasiliev, back up top for Woolley. Straight away, Gonzalez for Robinson, far half wall. Sauced for Van Durken in the corner. Right point, Gonzalez, walks the line, kept it in. Woolley shoots, deflection, back to the air, score! Whacked home by Noah Robinson. Back-to-back power play goals, and the Hat-tricks have the lead. A juggling puck in front, batted home by Noah Robinson. Nusiainen with the initial stop. It went airborne. And the hand dive from Noah Robinson near the left post. Danbury 2, Prowlers 1. 13:42 to go in the second period. So the hat-trick score 2 power play goals, 1 at 5-on-3. And then they cash in on the Chartrand slash. LaBelle and then Robinson. And the roof just about came off the DIA. These fans were waiting for something to scream about. And they get back-to-back goals and a 2-1 lead in a must-have win for Danbury. Millette tries to counter, will give for Lockney, left wing, he shoots and a stick save by McCullum. It pops into the netting. McCullum preserves the 1-goal lead. 13:11 to play here in the second period. Danbury twice on the power play. LaBelle at 5:02. Robinson a minute 17 later. Danbury leading the Prowlers 2-1 on the Hat Trick Digital Network.
Need custom signs or graphics? Vision Designs brings your vision to life with quality printing and design services. Call Vision Designs today for all your custom printing needs. Need a plumber you can trust? Hope Plumbing offers fast, reliable service for all your plumbing needs. From repairs to installations, we've got you covered. Hope Plumbing, where your home is our priority. Hungry for a steak? Come to Texas Roadhouse for hand-cut steaks, fall-off-the-bone ribs, and more. Visit Texas Roadhouse today, where great food and great times come together. Drive in style with Todd Maserati, offering the latest Maserati models and top-quality service. Visit Todd Maserati today for the luxury car experience you've been waiting for. Raise a glass at Reverie Brewing Company, locally brewed craft beer in a variety of styles. Visit our tap room today and sip on something special. Reverie Brewing, where beer meets imagination. Products available at the Danbury Ice Arena.
Doug Latuca back here in Danbury. Win or go home for the Hat-Tricks. Down 1-0 to the Prowlers in the Empire Division semifinals. And the Hat-Tricks with 2 power play goals. LaBelle at 5-on-3 at 5:02. And then a minute 17 later, Noah Robinson swatting home the go-ahead goal. This place erupting. Face off in the Hat-Tricks end far circle. Van Durkin wins back for LaBelle. He'll slip it near boards. Vasiliev smashed. Takes a hit, makes a play. And Woolley will scoop it on the backhand behind Nusiainen. Under 13 minutes remaining in the period as we inch closer to the midway point of regulation. LaBelle, quick up for Woolley, who was tapping his stick, wanted it. He'll loft it in on goal, and Nusiainen covers with the glove. Vasiliev bearing down. LaBelle had 3 power play goals in the regular season. 10 total, has 2 goals through 2 games here in the playoffs. Noah Robinson, 4 power play strikes in the regular campaign. Scored 7 seconds into a game in Michigan back on November 30th, right off the opening faceoff. He scored in a game that the Hat-Tricks went on to win 5-2. Tyler Fox zips through center, now on right wing, Ozone. He'll angle off the end boards. Around for Federley, who filters it behind the net. To the back, Oregon snapper, goes wide. Scantlebury in there, Bedard touching it up the boards, and Van Durkin lofts it out to center. LaBelle takes it away right side of the red line, and he'll shoot in. Vasiliev gets there first, collides with Parsons, finds Van Durkin, far half wall. Van Durkin all the way across to the near side, Pamelayan. He shoots, bouncing puck, skate to glove to stick for Bussell. Van Durkin picked his pocket. Bussell charges after the puck. Up ahead for Scantlebury. Prowlers from left to right. Chartrand stops his momentum and he'll flick it in deep. 11:30 on the clock, second period. And now a couple jabs in front of the hat-tricks bench. Van Durken and Parsons. And it looks like they might get Van Durken as well. Hat-tricks were screaming that it should just be a one-way penalty. Instead, it looks like it'll be even. We await the calls. Both number 19s talking it over, both captains. Federally for the Prowlers, Ruiz for the hat-tricks. Chippy since the puck drop yesterday. Vasiliev has taken his spot in the penalty box. So they will even things up. 5-on-5. Face-off will be to the left of Connor McCullum. It is 4-on-4 hockey. Initially, they had the 5 raised to both benches, but it is 4-on-4. Vasiliev and Parsons sitting for 2. Prowlers win a right circle draw. Lockhart has some room. He steps, shoots, blocked, and the hat-tricks have it. Gonzalez made the sacrifice. Ruiz on the backhand flips it wide of the cage, all the way around Millette, zipping in, left wing. One-handed move to the right corner. A walk up the wall, dances around a check, shoots off the end boards. Price in the corner for Millette. The righty veers middle, high slot. He shoots, save by McCullum, and he will leave it, no whistle. Still 4-on-4 for 120. Less than 11 minutes on the clock in the second period. Hat-tricks with back-to-back power play goals at 5:02 and 6:19 have the lead for the first time in the game. Alex Johnson lost the handle, Van Durken all over him, but the hat-tricks rookie lost his twig. Lucas Lockney over the blue line and the play offside with 56 ticks in the 4-on-4. Face-off just outside the hat-trick zone, far dot. Van Durken versus Federley. Still 4 aside. LaBelle drags and then punches it in. Simmons Fisher pestered by Van Durken behind the net, shielding Van Durken. Loose puck, and Simmons Fisher drew a penalty. Hooking call against Van Durken. Once that stick gets into the hands, they typically will call it every time. They've let a lot of that softer stuff go in this series. But, hey, Danbury was given a 5-on-3 earlier in this period. Delay of game, which is a no-doubter. It's either you shoot the puck out or you don't. And then a slash when Frolov got hacked by Chartrand. So Van Durken is in the penalty box. Prowlers can tie the game here on the power play. It is 4-on-3 for 35 seconds. Millette, right point. He drags, shoots, save, rebound, pops wide. Graham, position behind the net, low to high feed, Federley for Graham. Left circle, filters one across. Lockney to the back. Millette got handcuffed off his skate, and LaBelle clears. Past the midway point of regulation, 2-1 hat-tricks. They're shorthanded here. About to turn to a 5-on-4. Vasiliev and Parsons will be released right now. Prowlers in the O-zone. Federley, center point for Millette. Millette waiting, shoots, blocked. Rebound centered. Millette right side, wrister. Missed the mark. Rolls out to the left point. Johnson to Federle. Standing just outside the zone, keeps the puck in. Lockney left wing to the point. Federle shoots, score! Redirected in front. A power play goal for the Prowlers. This game is tied 2-2 with 9:16 remaining in the second. It was tipped in. Or maybe not. Federle led the line. And his shot from the point. Second time where Port Huron has used some traffic in front to their advantage. And after the Hat-Tricks took a 2-1 lead, the Prowlers captain answers with a power play goal to tie up the game, and the Hat-Tricks ice the puck. With 9:07 left in the second period, Austin Federle on the power play at 10:44 has this game knotted up at 2 right here on the Hat-Tricks Digital Network.
Stay warm this winter with Mitchell Oil. Reliable heating oil delivery and expert service to keep your home comfortable. Call Mitchell Oil today for quality service you can trust. Treat yourself at Peach Wave of Bethel. Fresh frozen yogurt with endless topping combinations. Visit today and create your perfect dessert. Peach Wave, where the possibilities are sweet. Building something special, Kellogg Hardwood Lumber has the finest kiln-dried hardwood lumber for all your projects. From flooring to furniture, we have what you need. Visit Kellogg Hardwood Lumber today. From sports injuries to joint pain, Ortho Connecticut has you covered. Expert orthopedic care for every body. Call today to schedule your consultation. Ortho Connecticut, where movement matters. Looking for reliable waste management solutions? Oak Ridge provides efficient, eco-friendly waste and recycling services for businesses and homes. Call Oak Ridge today and simplify your waste disposal. Looking for the perfect place to work on your golf game? Head to Golf Ranch in Brookfield. With a covered driving range, lessons for all skill levels, and a fun 18-hole mini golf course, there's something for everyone. Get ready to tee off at Golf Ranch in Brookfield.
Back in Danbury, 2-2 the score. Hat-Tricks and Prowlers in Game 2 of the opening round. Hat-Tricks need to win to keep their season alive. Special teams have been all over these first two games. Prowlers scored 2 power play goals yesterday and a shorthanded goal. Danbury cashing in once on the power play yesterday in garbage time. Here tonight, Hat-Tricks scoring 2 power play goals in this period, and then Federle answering on the man up has tied this game up at 2 apiece. Oregon will feather it behind the Hat-Tricks net. Abdella shouldered Scantlebury away from the puck, kissed off the near glass by Anderson into the skates of Simmons-Fisher. Hullaby tried to get around the big D-man. Instead, the puck goes out to center, and Scantlebury finishes his check on Gonzalez. Calling for the puck was Chartrand. He'll chip it in for Graham, who retrieves it. A giveaway, Lockney centers, stuffed dry, kept out, it's free in front. And Pamelayan swerves out of danger. He'll hit the brakes in the far corner. Out of the blade of Mo Valley, up ahead near side, out of the reach of Ruiz. Millette swings it far side for Chartrand, who runs into Pamelayan near the point. Puck wobbles out to center. And it's sent back in by Johnson. Mo Valley chopping it up the near wall. It was stopped second effort. Tried to elevate. And again, a keep from the Prowlers. Right corner, Millette. He's closed off. Gets some space. He centers a shot over the net. All alone was Fox. Did not play in game 1. Right point. Lockhart drags, shoots, blocked in front. A clear effort, trickles to the line. And Lockhart gives for Millette. Low left. Swoops around the net. Millette centering pass out of the reach. Johnson follows, shoots, and a glove save by McCullum. Alex Johnson with a good look from the top of the left circle. And McCullum makes his 14th save of the game. Faced 46 shots yesterday before getting pulled. Frankie McClendon relieved him and made 3 saves. Prowlers have picked up their play right after the Hat-Tricks connected the pieces for 2 power play goals. In a minute and 17 seconds, Port Huron has tied the game with a man-up goal of their own. And the play has been at the hat-trick's end for the last couple of minutes. Puck spits out for Frolov, who moves the legs up the right wing. Into the middle, Bedard, the defenseman, pinching. He's turned away. Rolling puck back into the hat-trick zone. With just less than 7 minutes on the second period clock. 2-2 score. Bedard gets the red line. He'll float it in. Nusiainen out of the net. He'll leave it. Van Durken steals it, throws it through the crease. Right point, Vasiliev shoots! Deflected wide, had Van Durken and Gonzalez there. Out the other side, it's Chartrand. Vasiliev getting back, and he swipes the puck away from Chartrand. Now Vasiliev pivoting in his own zone. Zigzagging through center. Steps over the left side of the red line and rims it in. Chartrand chopping at it. Keep by Gonzalez behind the goal line. It's Parsons, sidesteps Van Durken, and Parsons cross ice Scantlebury. Skate to stick, had some trouble with it. Kept in though by Chartrand. Gonzalez from right to left for the hat-tricks. Hullaby over center. He'll chip it and charge in. Organ collides with Hullaby, not before finding Millette. A giveaway at center ice, Mo Valley. Near his own blue line, a tip in. Icing called on the hat-tricks. No touch near the red line, and if there was, it was before the center ice line. So the face-off goes back into Danbury's end to the left of Connor McCullum. Graham against Anderson. Anderson wins it clean. Pamelayan motors from behind the net. Gets the red, gives off Anderson, who shoots. Stick save Nusiainen. Played carefully around the boards. Alex Johnson for Port Huron. Elevated pass, Lockney settles. Millette gliding it for the trailer Graham. Out of his reach, and the hat-tricks clear the zone. 5:10 remaining in the second period, 2-2. Hat-tricks and Prowlers. Game 2 of the opening round. Port Huron winners yesterday at home. A shot in on McCullum. He has trouble. The shot stopped with the pad. He went for the poke check, and then the puck was too far in front of him. He never got to it. Harwell wins the race, negates the icing. A clog up behind the net. Clear attempt kept, left point LaBelle. Swings it across, Bedard, wrister, gloved by Nusiainen. Hat-tricks fighting to get in front, and Parsons and Harwell exchanging swipes at each other. Ref stepping in. Parsons and Harwell. They might be the next to take a 2-minute seat in the box. We will have to see. Now Price and Bedard going after it. Hat-tricks bench is apoplectic. They're yelling at the fishman to get off the ice. In front of the hat-tricks bench now it's James and Ratcliffe. Looks like the refs have stepped in. We will step out, oh no. They might have given the hat-tricks game operations team a penalty. I'm not sure. Ratcliffe and James are in the penalty box. One apiece. We'll figure it all out when we come back on the Hat-Tricks Digital Network.
Hat-Tricks fans, are you hungry? Caroluzzi's Markets has the best sub shop and the best selection of chef-prepared meals for easy dinners. Caroluzzi's is your one-stop supermarket for all your grocery needs and so much more. Craving something sweet? Crumble Cookies in Danbury has the freshest, warmest cookies around. With new flavors every week, there's always a reason to treat yourself. Visit Crumble today. Products available at the Danbury Ice Arena. Hey Hat-Tricks fans, for a comfortable stay with great amenities, the only choice is the La Quinta by Wyndham in Danbury. Ask for the Hat-Tricks Friends and Family rate. You can't beat it. La Quinta. Get back to feeling your best with Hat City Physical Therapy. Personalized care for every body and every injury. Call today to start your recovery. Hat City Physical Therapy, your health is our focus. Fairfield County Bank is the official bank of the Danbury Hat Tricks. It's where the Hat Tricks bank and the tellers wear the Danbury Hat Tricks top hat. Fairfield County Bank is the hometown bank of the Danbury Hat Tricks and are proud to support their hometown team.
Well, things got a little crazy here in Danbury. 4:43 left to go in the second period, and a tie game, 2-2 the score. Ratcliffe for the hat trick, James for the Prowlers, both in the penalty box, slashing the call. And you see the fish man, Nick Mersing. First time we've shown it on the broadcast. He went for the behind the back feed. 0 for 1, and he'll catch it the normal way to conclude our Candlewood bait and tackle promotion. At the break, we had jawing between both benches. It all sparked in front of Valtteri Nusiainen, the Prowlers goaltender, and just carried over towards the benches. Fishman came on a little too early. Patrick's bench was yelling at him to get off the ice. I thought maybe they were giving Danbury an extra 2 for but now it's 4-on-4 again. We played a lot of 4-on-4 in the second game of this series. 2-2 game. Off the face-off, it's chopped by Price, 2-on-1, up the left wing. Price shoots, pad save by McCullum. He didn't know where it was. Flanked right off his pad. Millette, left circle, he shoots over the crossbar. Rims around for Price. Lost it to Harwell. And he'll shoot it down the ice. Not enough for icing. And Organ back to retrieve for Port Huron. Timothy Organ gets the red. Fights through a stick check of Vasiliev. Lost the puck. Vasiliev 1-on-2 with some back check. He'll hit the brakes. Tries to pass. He lost it. Here comes Scantlebury. 1-on-1 with McCullum. He shoots. Blocker save by McCullum. Tried to snap it over the blocker, just like Price did shorthanded yesterday. And McCullum says no, and now Vasiliev dumps Scantlebury behind the net. That's a penalty. Scantlebury's numbers showing, now something flying onto the ice from the stands. More conversation in the right corner. Scantlebury on all fours below the goal line. Scantlebury robbed by McCullum on the breakaway. And then Scantlebury was back behind the net and took a shove from Vasiliev. It was 4-on-4, and now we will transition to a 4-on-3. Another power play for Port Huron. Well, things are getting a little wacky here in game 2. Hat-tricks have to make sure they keep their cool. Can ill afford to give up. A couple more power play goals. Hat-tricks have scored twice on the man up. And the most recent Prowlers goal was Federley on the man advantage. All right, 2-2 the game score. 3:40 remaining in the second period. It's a 4-on-3, boarding Vasiliev in the box. Federley, center point, fakes the shot. Walks in, gives off Millette left circle. He'll slide it down low, pass up top. Federley, he shoots. It pops in the air and he scores. McCullum got a piece, but it trickles over the line. Austin Federley again. Back-to-back for the Prowlers captain on the power play. And Port Huron steps in front yet again. It's 3-2, 3:27 left in the second. Crisp passing from the Prowlers, a lot of room in that offensive zone. They worked it from up high, down low, back into the high slot, and Federle danced right in and wristed it off the blocker stick of McCullum, and it had just enough mustard on it to cross over the goal line. So now the Prowlers are discussing, they're hoping that their power play remains. Well, we'll either play 4-on-4 or it will be 5-on-4 Port Huron. I believe they score. Oh, they say no goal. They were reviewing the play. They took a look at it. We didn't even have an idea that they were looking at the play. Federle from the slot shot one. Where did the puck go? Was it underneath the Hat-Tricks D-man? That puck never crossed the line. It's still 2-2. 3:27 left in the second period. So it wasn't a matter of men on the ice. It just never went in, or he was interfered with. Either way, it's 2-2. Still a 4-on-3 power play for Port Huron. Near half wall, it's Lockney. He'll creep in, give back for Federle. Just had the goal taken off. Left circle, Millette. Patiently gives it for Graham. Low left, swung at by Abdella. Keep Millette. He drags, shoots, blocker saved by McCullum into the netting. So they call goalie interference on the goal. It did in fact go over the line, but waved off because of goaltender interference. This game remains tied at 2. Millette off the O-zone face-off. Federle for Millette. He'll drag in, pass in front, hop the stick of Graham, who takes a spill in front. LaBelle chopping at it. It's rolling on the dasher. Glove down by Federle, and a hand pass. Federle to Millette. And the whistle blows. 2 seconds left on this 4-on-3, which will transition to a 5-on-4. Ratcliffe and James will be released from the penalty box. Face-off outside the Hat-Tricks end. Following the hand pass. Lots to keep track of here in Game 2, Round 1. We apologize for some of the confusion, but everything seems to be squared away. Hat-Tricks appeared to have fallen behind again, but goaltender interference, wiping off the Federle goal, would have been his second of the period. Hat-Tricks control off the draw, and now a 5-on-4 with Vasiliev sitting in the penalty box. That boarding penalty at 16-14. Lockhart connects with Price, left side of the line. Dropping back for Organ, he'll tiptoe the blue line. Gives to Scantlebury, left corner, threads a pass through, off a leg, out to center. Organ the quick up. Scantlebury will shovel it into the backhand. LaBelle sprinting after it, rims it around the kick plate, and out of the zone, past the stick of Lockhart. Final 20 of the power play. Organ dropping back for Millette. Defended by Ruiz. He'll turn on the Jets, up left wing, into the O-zone. He cuts middle, Millette shoots, missed the net. It was redirected wide. Final seconds of the power play and a giveaway. 2-on-1 for Danbury. Now a 3-on-1, Vasiliev out of the box. Right wing, pass down low, block, bouncing puck, stuff try. Vasiliev goes into Nusiainen. Puck is free behind the net. There's a wrestling match between Graham and Vasiliev. Prowlers clear the zone, no icing. So Vasiliev sprung right out of the box, almost gave the Hat-Tricks a 3-2 lead. Went bulldozing into Nusiainen. Hamalainen has the puck behind the net. He'll angle it for Van Durken. On right wing, floats it to the left of Nusiainen. Gathered in Bussell, cranks it off the near glass, kicked in by Movalli. Parsons across for Johnson for Port Huron. Up ahead, quick tap for Bussell. The return in front of Price, and Robinson bats it out to center. Johnson tries the other side. Through the legs of Bussell, he skates into it on the right wing. He'll snow shower on Mo Valley. Tucks it behind the net. Spinning is James, helping out his Price for Port Huron in the right corner to the back. Parsons shoots off the end boards. Getting to it first, Bussell. He'll stop and start. Mo Valley stick checks him and staples him along the boards. Free puck sent in front. Robinson steals it away. Outlet for Anderson, who tries to chip in charge. Around Parsons he goes. He collides. Finishes off Johnson in the corner. And it's sorted out to center with 20 ticks in the period. Quick up for Ruiz. One-on-one with Johnson. Ruiz stopped. A shootout. Knocked down by Millette. Lockney with 10 seconds. Left wing offensive zone. He's outnumbered. Lockney pestered. Puck out to center. Last 3 seconds. He shoots. Glove saved by McCullum. And that should do it for the second period. What a game so far. 40 exciting, edge-of-your-seat minutes in a must-win game for the Hat-Tricks to keep their season alive. Yesterday came down to the third period. Identical score through 40. Tonight, compared to yesterday, but it was Port Huron that blitzed the Hat-Tricks with 4 goals to eventually win 6-3. Everyone wants their voice heard on both benches. It has been back and forth. Heart-pumping action. Prowlers, the 3 seed in the Empire, have stuck to their style. But Hat-Tricks capitalizing on 2 power play opportunities, a 5-on-3. LaBelle 5 seconds into the 2-man advantage. Ripping one past Nusiainen. Then it turned to a 5-on-4 power play. Robinson put the Hat-Tricks in front. So 2 goals in a minute 17. Gave the Hat-Tricks a 2-1 advantage. But Austin Federley on the power play at 10:44. Just floating one from the point. And it found its way into the back of the net. 2-2 game, and Federley thought he had another one. It was a 4-on-3 power play. Quick tic-tac-toe passing to the high slot. Federley ripped one off the blocker of McCullum and in, but they waved it off for goaltender interference. So it is chuck-a-puck time from the DIA. Don't worry, folks, we are back throwing our foam pucks. Post-season edition. Todd Maserati, Alfa Romeo of Danbury. Chuck-a-puck time. 3 pucks today, 20:37, 20:06, and 7:61. You can win a TV, an Xbox, a suite, a jersey. All up for grabs with a $200 prize in the middle pot. So now time to chuck our pucks. We'll go with 761 first. I've been close a couple of times. I have not won the jackpot from all the way up here in the broadcast booth. 761 on the way. It's bouncing wide of the target. All right, we're 0 for 1. 2006. Here's the throw. That one didn't have really much of a chance. Tough angle up here, especially with the headset on. Our last puck, 20:37, for a chance to win for the first time this year. It'll be a sidearm chuck. That one's on the way, just short. Good effort. Always a lot of fun from up here on the broadcast booth to participate. Foam pucks keep on flying in. And we will step out with the Hat-Tricks and Prowlers knotted up at 2-2, end of 2. Hat-tricks need to win to force a Game 3 tomorrow, or else their season is over. We will have the third period and maybe a little bit more for you, all right here on the Hat-tricks Digital Network. We'll step out, come on back for the third period right after this on the Hat-tricks Digital Network.
Hat-tricks fans, get ready for your next fishing adventure with Candlewood Bait and Tackle. Everything you need from live bait to top quality gear. Visit us today and reel in the big one. Need a coffee fix? Cash and Live Coffee Creations has your favorite lattes, cold brews, and more. Made fresh, just for you. Cash and Live Coffee Creations, where coffee meets creativity. Products available at the Danbury Ice Arena. The Danbury Parking Authority reminds you to park in the Patriot Garage across the street from the Danbury Ice Arena. It's safe, secure, and legal. Make sure the only ticket you get is to the game.
Back inside the Danbury Ice Arena, second intermission. Hat-tricks and Prowlers tied up at 2 goals apiece, entering a very crucial third period. I'm standing next to, here on the broadcast booth, Tommy, who's a big Hat-tricks fan, a dear friend of the Hat-tricks head equipment manager, Bob D'Alessio. Bob tells me, has been telling me all season, even going back to last year, that Tommy is a massive fan of the Hat-tricks, watches the Danbury games on replay because you have work sometimes during the games. So we'll watch these games at 1, 2, 3 in the morning. He's texting Bob back and forth. And we just want to thank Tommy for his support all season. We love his fandom. He's great. Anyone who's a friend of Bob D'Alessio is a friend of the Danbury Hat-tricks and everyone working here on the Hat-tricks Digital Network. So Tommy, welcome to the Danbury Ice Arena from Torrington, Connecticut. Not too far of a ride for Tommy as he comes and enjoys some playoff hockey. Hat-tricks will try to get him a win entering the third period. They're still picking up some pucks at center ice from our Chuck-a-Puck. So still about 16 minutes until the start of the third period. But Tommy, thanks so much for being up here, being in the arena, and being loud for the Hat-tricks in a great jersey, number 34, a beauty right there as he supports the Hat-tricks as they try to force a Game 3, which will be tomorrow, Easter Sunday at 5 p.m. if the Hat-tricks can nudge their way past the Prowlers. Third period is coming up in about 15 minutes or so. We'll step out and rejoin you for the third after this on the Hat-tricks Digital Network.
Hat-tricks fans, get ready for your next fishing adventure with Candlewood Bait and Tackle. Everything you need from live bait to top quality gear. Visit us today and reel in the big one. Need a coffee fix? Cash and Live Coffee Creations has your favorite lattes, cold brews, and more. Made fresh, just for you. Cash and Live Coffee Creations, where coffee meets creativity. Products available at the Danbury Ice Arena. The Danbury Parking Authority reminds you to park in the Patriot Garage across the street from the Danbury Ice Arena. It's safe, secure, and legal. Make sure the only ticket you get is to the game.
Doug Latuca back with you inside the Danbury Ice Arena ahead of the biggest period of the season. Through 40 minutes, the Hat-Tricks and the Prowlers tied up at 2. Port Huron winning 6-3 yesterday gave them a 1-0 series lead heading into tonight's contest. Hat-Tricks trying to force a Game 3, which would occur tomorrow at 5 o'clock, Easter Sunday, from the DIA. That the Hat-Tricks' goal going in to the third period. Third periods have played a major factor, especially in a bunch of the most recent matchups between the two teams. Prowlers, of course, scoring 4 straight goals in the third yesterday to pull away in Game 1 of this series. And if you look back to the final 3 games between these squads, February 22nd, February 28th, and March 1st, all crazy finishes, all games going past regulation, decided by 1 goal. Hat-Tricks overcame a deficit on March 1st. It was Kyle Gonzalez who won the game in overtime on a net mouth scramble, a wrister from the high slot. Then on the 28th, it was the Prowlers winning a game 3-2 in overtime. The puck was roofed near the right post over the shoulder of McCullum. And then on the 22nd, it was a crazy 6-5 shootout victory for the Hat-Tricks' Gleb Van Durkin, the hero that night. But Danbury entered that third down 4-1. They got goals from Robinson, Hullaby, and Ruiz in the opening 5 minutes or so to tie the game. Then they fell behind by 1 again. It was Hullaby with a deflection in the high slot with a little less than 2 minutes left in the period. In regulation, forced overtime. And then Gleb Van Durkin, after an eventful overtime period, tucked home the winner in the shootout. This is playoff hockey, folks. There's no shootout. If we cannot decide a winner here in the final 20, they'll Zamboni the ice again and we'll get set for a sudden death 20-minute 5-on-5 hockey game. Nothing better than overtime playoff hockey. Still lots of time remaining here in this one. The Hat-Tricks and Prowlers were knotted at 2 yesterday entering the third, and we all know how that went. Prowlers took complete control of that game, winning it 6-3. Elsewhere in the FPHL, 3 other games going on, and a couple of series have concluded. The reigning Commissioners' Cup champions and FPHL 2025 champion Binghamton Black Bears blanked the Wolves 4-0 in Game 2 at Visions Veterans Memorial Arena. Connor McAnanama not tested much at all. He had a 15-save shutout. CJ Stubbs, Blake Tosto, Tyson Kirkby, and Don Oliveri, all with goals. 2 in the second, 2 in the third. They advance to the second round, and they'll play the winner of this series in the Empire Division Finals. In the Continental, 2 games on the docket and a final. The Columbus River Dragons, the number 3 seed, upsetting the number 2 Athens Rock Lobsters 4-2 inside Atkins Ford Arena in Athens. The Georgia versus Georgia matchup. Columbus took a 1-0 series lead, winning Wednesday on home ice. Fell yesterday to even the series at 1. But a 4-2 victory here tonight in a game that was 2-0 Athens after 1. The River Dragons burying 4 unanswered goals, including the empty net tally, to seal the deal and seal the series. They are likely going to face the number 1 team in the Continental, the Carolina Thunderbirds, and they will. Third period is done at Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Arena. 4-1 the final. The Bobcats, who won a play-in game earlier on in the week, have been eliminated in their first ever postseason appearance, and it will be Carolina versus Columbus in round 2 in the Continental. Binghamton awaits the winner here in Danbury. Well, this is shaping up to be quite some finish. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're happy to have you. Saturday night from the Danbury Ice Arena, Prowlers took a 1-0 lead into the first intermission locker room. Scantlebury from Bucell right off the draw at 14-15. Danbury potting back-to-back power play goals in a minute 17-second span. Josh LaBelle on the 5-on-3 just 5 seconds into it. Then Noah Robinson, a minute 17 later on the 5-on-4 power play, gave the Hat-Tricks their first lead of the night. But it was Austin Federley on the power play at 10:44, tying the game. He thought he had the go-ahead goal, but it was goaltender interference, and Matt Graham contacted Connor McCullum. Biggest period of the season for Danbury, trying to stay alive in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. We are underway. Win and Game 3 tomorrow right here in Danbury. Puck tipped in by Harwell up the left wing, skitters onto the stick of Alex Judson, who circles around the net. Outlet pass, batted out of the air by Millette, dropping for Lockney right wing. He shoots, blocked by LaBelle. Follow-up, batted around near the right post. Lockney tried to Michigan style it under the bar. It flipped off of his blade, and a point shot from Oregon redirects out to center. Just 35 seconds in, the Prowlers nearly took the 1-goal lead. Harwell and Price whacking each other right in front of the Hat-Tricks bench. Meanwhile, Federley dances out of trouble. He leads Fox. Left wing, backtracks. Halted by Bedard. Price springs off the boards. And a trickling puck is pitchforked down the ice by Frolov. And icing waves. Oregon retrieves for Port Huron. He flips it off the near glass. And it wobbles on goal. McCullum touching it for Abdella, his D-man. Gonzalez tried to pound it off the end boards. Lost it to Scantlebury. The lefty behind the cage. Stapled to the end boards. They jockey for it behind the net. To a side. Vasiliev on the outer ring. Now he'll step in, poking and prodding at it. It spits out for Scantlebury. Near corner. He'll drop it for the pinching Heinzel. Closed off by Gonzalez. Feathers down low Chartrand. Bucell lifts his stick. It squirts out for Gonzalez, one hand's up the board. Scantlebury crunched by Frolov. Point shot, goes wide, pops off the end boards. Glove down by Chartrand, right corner. He'll wheel it around to the near side. Heinzel stepping in. He flips it down low. Gonzalez took a hit from Bucell. Chartrand pounces on the puck in the right corner. It's Gonzalez for Danbury. Outlet, Vasiliev, almost put into the Prowlers bench. No more than 2 minutes gone by in the third period, 2-2 game. Prowlers lead the best of 3, 1-0. Robinson, reverse hit on Millette. Got the best of the Prowlers forward. Puck out of the zone. Here comes Lockney, splitting the D. Lockney to the goal, hit the post! Slithering through the Hat-Tricks defenseman, and he comes up with the iron. Still 2-2. Lucas Lockney going for his second goal of the series. Millette has 2, both coming last night. Scantlebury and Federley for the Prowlers. LaBelle and Robinson for the Hat-Tricks. Puck in on McCullum. He'll cover it with the glove. 2:50 melted off the third period clock. Tensest moments of the season. Oh, would you look at that? Very nice gesture from Andreas Klauba, our PA announcer, with an announcement. Really appreciate that. But we got hockey right here in the playoffs. Awards can come after. Puck cycled around the Hat-Tricks net. LaBelle will punch it to Harwell, who kisses it off the glass out to center ice, juggling puck. Ratcliffe twirling, spinning. It finds Ruiz, who goes back for Bedard. He'll race over the right side of the red line, tried to angle it off the boards and instead put it into the Prowlers bench. 16 seconds gone by in the third period. Every shot, every save means that much more. When it's do or die, backs up against the wall for the Hat-Tricks for the second straight postseason. They lost game one, but this one a little different than last year. They have home ice in games 2 and 3. Trying to feed off the crowd. Long outlet pass, tipped on goal. Nusiainen comes out of the crease, plays it, penalty. Ruiz was grabbed onto and hauled down. So 3:25 into the third. In a 2-2 game, the Hat-Tricks, who have struck gold twice with the man up, get another opportunity to step in front. They're 2 for 3 on the power play in the game. Prowlers are 1 for 3. It's Adam Heinzel who grabbed on to Ruiz. Prowlers possess off the draw, and it's hurled down the ice. Settled by McCullum. Hat-Tricks have LaBelle orchestrating with Harwell, Ruiz, Ratcliffe, and Hullaby. Harwell maneuvers in left wing. Behind the net, tried to poke at it, stolen away, and flung the length. Three of the Hat-Tricks' 5 goals in this series have come on the power play. Harwell trying to get around Simmons Fisher, the long reach, and it's jabbed out of the zone. A let's go Hat-Tricks chant from the Danbury faithful. Danbury has led once in this game, 2-1, after 2 straight power play goals, a minute 17 apart. Hamalayan will hand it off. Van Durken gets the blue line, chips it in, chasing after it. Meets Johnson in the corner. He spins. Bouncing puck. Settled left point, Woolley. Across for Vasiliev, all the way through. Hamalayan, pass down low, tipped wide. Van Durken on the doorstep. Got some good one on it, just wide of the left post. Game remains tied at 2. Final 30 of the power play, 5 in to the third. Vasiliev storming through center. He stood up, and Van Durken with it. He'll hand it off for Hamalayan. Cycling back for it, Van Durken. Right over the center ice logo. Chartrand all over him. Just about does it for the Hat-Tricks power play. Van Durken gains the blue line, leaves Vasiliev, and on the pass, he has it. High slot, Vasiliev shoots, scores! Right as the power play was expiring, Alexander Vasiliev snipes it. 3-2 Danbury. The 35-year-old vet putting the Hat-Tricks on his back early in the third. Fed on the pass, got it back. And he stepped into a snipe over the blocker of Nusiainen. 5:26 into the third. And Alexander Vasiliev giving the Hat-Tricks another lead. Vasiliev finished the year with 37 assists, 4th most in a single season of any player in Hat-Tricks history. Also had 12 goals. He buries one on the power play, or maybe right as it was expiring. We'll have to check to see the ruling. Either way, it's the go-ahead goal at 5:27. Even strength from Kyle Gonzalez and Xavier Abdella, and Danbury still alive. A giveaway. Here's Anderson shooting wide. Bedard pinching at the right point. Bouncing puck, Millette collides with Hullaby. Robinson all the way across for Anderson. Gets the red line, floats on Nusiainen, and he'll steer it aside. Brian Parsons. Bank pass, Chartrand trickling towards the right post. Scantlebury whacking at it, pad save McCullum. Ruiz will bank it off the near wall. Back into Port Huron territory. Parsons tape to tape with Scantlebury. He'll tip it in behind the net. Hamalayan grabs it off the board to give away. Here's a stuff try. Pamelayan sliding. It's free. Out to the slot. Harwell for the hat-tricks. Across Ruiz. Left wing, Ozone. Dips the shoulder. Backhander save. Nusiainen nets off. Alexander Vasiliev, right as the power play came to an end. Orister from the high slot beats Nusiainen blocker side. Danbury back in front. 3-2. About 7 minutes into the third period right here on the Hat-Tricks Digital Network.
When legal matters arise, trust Chipman, Mizuko, and Emerson. Expert legal guidance for businesses and individuals. Your case matters. Let us help you with personalized professional service. Keep your car running smoothly with Dowler Garage. From maintenance to repairs, trust our experts to get the job done right. Visit Dowler Garage in New Preston today. Service you can depend on. When disaster strikes, Paul Davis is here to help. From fire and water damage to mold removal, we provide fast and reliable restoration services. Paul Davis, restoring your peace of mind. Need tickets? TicketSmarter makes it easy to find and buy tickets for concert, sports, and more. Visit TicketSmarter.com today and get the best seats in the house. Frustrated with your business's sluggish tech? Advanced Computer Technologies is here to help. From IT solutions to cybersecurity, we've got you covered. Call us today and keep your business tech on track towards the future.
Back inside the Danbury Ice Arena. Hat-tricks up on the Prowlers, 3-2. Alexander Vasiliev, the go-ahead goal at 5:27 of this period. His first of the postseason. Hat-tricks want more. Van Durkin from a sharp angle. Stopped by Nusiainen. And the Prowlers netminder kicked the net off.
Fans, TK's American Cafe on White Street in Danbury.
What a game, what a series. It was very competitive 2 periods yesterday. We entered the third tied at 2. Prowlers pulled away. Here tonight, the Hat-tricks have inched their way in front. Power play goals from LaBelle and Robinson in the second. Federley tied it on the man up for the Prowlers midway through the period. And then Vasiliev, the only one here in the third. Off the face-off, it trampolines off the end boards. Dan Chartrand through center ice. He'll shoot in. Collides with Gonzalez, free puck behind the net. Scantlebury in there for Port Huron. Poke to Frolov, far half wall. He'll alley-oop it, looking for Vasiliev. Took an awkward bounce back towards the hat-trick zone. To the benefit of the Prowlers. Van Durkin at center, shoved in the chest. Taken in Scantlebury for Port Huron, over the blue line. Stick check from LaBelle. Scantlebury spinning, gets to it. Left corner. He'll spin on Frolov. Scantlebury out in front. Fan on the shot. He was trucked down, free in the paint. Covered, whistle blows. And now some grabbing net side. Van Durkin and Chartrand. Abdella is also locked up along the near boards with Fox. And McCullum keeping the lead, 3-2 Danbury. Helmets are being tossed all over the ice. Laying everything on the line, playoff hockey. Game 2, round 1. Hat-tricks need it to force a Game 3 tomorrow. Refs have sorted it out. Dan Chartrand is missing his bucket. It's on the bench. Now Frolov and Fox still barking at one another. Right as the refs separate one scrum, it seems like the other players decide, okay, it's my turn. It was scramble time in front of McCullum. A couple jams at it. Scantlebury winning on Frolov in the corner. Then his backhand shot didn't get a lot on it as Frolov leveled him near the left circle. Face off at the right circle, hat-trick zone. Graham for Port Huron, Anderson for Danbury. It's kicked around. Millette to the back. A wrist shot from Lockhart wide. Millette, bottom of the right circle. Recoils. He'll wheel it down low. LaBelle steps in front of Graham and takes the puck. LaBelle off to the races, up the middle. Hands off Hullaby, right wing. And he's offside as he dragged himself. Just past 12 minutes to go in this third period. Vasiliev with the go-ahead goal at 5:27. Near dot, outside the Prowler zone. They'll square up for the draw. Port Huron takes possession. Organ for Simmons Fisher. Right up the gut, deflected away, and LaBelle pounds it off the near wall. Another bouncing puck and another whistle as it jumps into the Hat-Tricks bench. Still plenty of time, and we mentioned at the intermission, the final 3 meetings of the regular season all went to overtime. Hat-Tricks won 2 of the 3. Prowlers winning in regulation yesterday. Here comes Harwell storming in right side. His shot off the mask of Nusiainen. And again, a stoppage as the net was removed from the pegs again. Back and forth we go. Will we have a game 3 tomorrow afternoon? Bedard and LaBelle on the back end. Ruiz, Ratcliffe, and Harwell up front. Best against best right now for both these teams. Federally against Ruiz for the draw. Ruiz wins it. LaBelle at the left point. Will jab it down low. Simmons Fisher boxing out Ratcliffe. It's wheeled up the near wall. Out to center, past Price. LaBelle absorbs it, and he shoots in on Nusiainen. Setting up a face-off. Organ with a cross-check on Harwell. Outnumbered in the right corner. Ruiz coming over to help. Hat-Tricks defensemen do not want to jump in here. If they jump below those hashes, then the face-off gets moved out of the zone. So smartly, they stay out of the scrum with just 11:19 to go in regulation. Hat-Tricks forced a game 3 last year after falling behind 1-0 to Motor City. They took one at Big Boy Arena. Came up short in game 3. Hat-Tricks would love another crack at a winner-take-all. Off the face-off, Lockhart up for Millette. Thought about a chip-in, a ramp-in rather. He chips it in. Graham, right corner, puts it in front, stopped away by Ruiz. And Ratcliffe soars it through center. Chopped back into the Hat-Trick zone. Prowlers tag up. Bedard in his own zone. Up ahead for Ratcliffe, who keeps it moving. We creep closer to the midway point, third period. 3-2 Hat-Tricks lead. Mo Valley smashing Lockney in front of the Hat-Tricks bench. Every black jersey standing on that bench. Mo Valley, a scratch yesterday. Back in on defense here tonight.